right, so today we're working on some problems that are related to perimeter area and or volume. And so this is a released STAAR question from 2021. Here's our date here. And its lead forward is the source that I'm getting these from. And so today we're going to look at the problems to see about, again, about volume, perimeter area or volume. So a rectangular prism has a length of 20 inches, a width of 11 inches, and a height of 13 inches. What is the volume in cubic inches of this rectangular prism? So this one is really straightforward problem. On STAAR, you will be given the formula. There's like a formula sheet. So we are looking for the volume. It tells you, it will ask you, what is the volume? Give it what it's asking for. Volume is length times width times height. Another formula that may be there, you might see volume equals base times height, okay? Base is just the length and width of that bottom layer, okay? Base is just the length and the width of that bottom layer. So base equals length times width, all right? And then that h. So it's the same thing. And so you'll determine which of the formulas to use based on what you need, right? What you need from the word problem. This time they give us all three of these, so we can just use this formula because it has all three. So you're going to set it up this way. Looking for the volume. This is the formula that we're using. We don't know the volume, but we do know the length is 20. Plug it in. Plug it in, plug it in. All right, we know the length is 20. We know the width is 11, so you're going to plug it in. We know the height is 13. We're going to, you guessed it, plug it in. So now that you have those plugged in, you can use your calculator if you are someone who uses a calculator. If you are not, then you want to multiply two of those numbers at a time because who wants to do all that other stuff, okay? One of the things that I want you to think about is like 11 really being 10 and 1, right? So if I do 10 times 20, your brain already knows that it's 200. And then 1 times 20, that's 20, right? So you're doing 220. You're like, oh, Miss McQueen, I cannot do that math in my head. You told me not to. Thank you. Go to the side. What 11 is 11 is 10 plus 1. That's all 11 is. 11 is 10 and 1, right? So if you know how to do this, it's okay to break it down. However you want to solve this, you solve it. If you're having to solve it, okay? You have to, so use what you know about numbers. So 20 times 10, we know is 200. And we know that because we know that 20 times 1 is going to be 20. But then if we're going using what we know about numbers on that place value, every time you go to the left, you increase by 10, you multiply by 10, and move to the left. So 20, or actually 1, instead of 20 times 1, it becomes 20 times 10, and that's 200, okay? Other way is 0 times 0, 0. 0 times 2, 0. Drop down. So it's the same thing. You're going to get the same answer. And then 20 times 1, we are so good at this. 20 times 1 is 20. 20 plus 200 is 220, okay? I am not expecting you to solve the entire thing at once. Please don't try to do all of it at once unless you have a calculator. Now you do the same thing here. Break it, you can do 220 times 10 because 13 is just 10 and 3. You remember that from what, kindergarten or first? So I'm going to do 220 times 10 and then 220 times 3. You got it. That's all I did. I just broke it down a little bit. If you want to stack them and multiply, you are welcome to do that. I am showing you another way you can do it, okay? So we know 220 times 1 would be 220. But 220 times 10, because this is just a multiple of 10, right? Moving over on that place value chart using what you know about numbers, if 220 times 1 is 220, then 220 times 10 is 2,200, right? Now, this is the doozy. 3 times 0, 0. 3 times 2, 6. 3 times 2, 6. I didn't say the value of those numbers. We're just concentrating on the numbers. Then add them together, okay? 0 and 0, 0, 6 and 0, 6, 6 and 2, 8. No thousands, 2000s. There is your answer, guys. Right there, right? G would be your answer. Check yourself over here when you're practicing, okay? That's our answer. G is our answer. G is our answer. That was really simple. That's probably one of the most straightforward volume problems you're going to get. Most forward volume problems you're going to get. There wasn't anything missing, okay? Sometimes there's things that are missing. No problem. We got this. We can solve it. Let's do this last one here. This problem is 5.4H as well. It tells me what it is here. Edgar built a deck on his backyard with a section in the shape of a rectangle and a section in the shape of a square. The model shows the dimensions of his deck in feet. Ooh, this is different than our volume problem. This is different because it didn't ask us about volume, and this is a flat shape. Volume is going to be 3D, okay? So what is the area in square feet of the deck Edgar built? Well, I like how it helped me up here. It said one section in the shape of a rectangle. I see it right here. So I'm going to do a little dividing line. Okay? I'm going to do a little dividing line to help my brain out, to help my brain see that rectangle and that square. I want to help my brain see it. Do you see that rectangle and that square? So yes, this is going to be on the computer. You may not be able to draw on the computer a line. You might be able to highlight, right, on the computer, or use whatever tools you have on the computer. If not, then we're going to do a shape on your scratch paper. Take your scratch paper, draw it out. He had a rectangular deck. He had a square deck. Ms. McQueen's not an artist, right? This is math. It doesn't have to be perfect, but my numbers need to be there. Then I'm just going to write what they have here, 16 feet, and then 8 feet, and then 8 feet here, and then 8 feet here. All right, that's what my picture said already. So I have a, let me make my 8 better because that was bad, Miss McQueen. All right, so, oh, and that's, there you go. Much better, much better. Messy, but it's all right. So when you're finding the area of something that looks like this, you are going to find the area of the first one, and then you're going to find the area of the next one. Again, you will be using a sheet that has all of your formulas. It's a reference sheet. And so when you're finding the area is always going to be length times width for a rectangle. And a square is a special kind. So we're going to talk about that square. So a square is a special kind of rectangle. It just has all the sides the same, right? Or a square, look at that square. Look at it sitting over there. All right, so we're going to say the area of a square is side times side, which is still length times width. It's the same thing. It's side times the other side, okay? So let's do this one first. You want to do this one first, or you want to do the small one? Let's do the square. It's going to be the same. So if you know your multiplication facts, we're good. I'm going to do my formula over here to the side. Scratch paper to the rescue. All right. It tells me here, this is my square. I'm going to do, this is my square. That's my square. I'm using the formula for square. The area of a square would be side times side. Plug in my side, plug in my side. Your numbers are always going to be the same, right? And then area equals 8 times 8. You know it, 64. Don't forget to put that square feet. All right, so this part of the deck is 64 square feet. And put just SF, okay? All right, now we got to do this part of the deck. So that is a rectangle. I'm using the formula for a rectangle, which is length times width. Area equals length times width. It doesn't matter which one of these numbers you make the length. I tend to make the, you know, maybe the longest part, the length. So 16 feet times 8 feet, because those are the numbers it gave us. All right, stack them up, stack them up. Makes it easier for you. Or if you don't want to do all the cross and it bothers you to regroup, then 16 is simply 10 and 6. Okay, if that's the case, I'm gonna go over here. I need some room. Need some room. Oh, yes, I could have been here. 10 times 8. Here's our 10. There's our 8. We're just breaking this 16 down. And then what's left over from the 10 is the 6 times 8. Okay? I know that 8 times 10 is 80 because I can do that. Skip counting by 10. Now 6 times 8, if I don't know it, I showed you in another video that you can do. I don't care if you want to do the 6 or the 8 up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then 1, 2, 3, all the way down to 8. Okay? Oops, didn't mean to put that line there. My dots are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 because I'm multiplying by 6. So that's why my dots are there. Do you have to draw the dots? No. You can put your dots here. It's okay. 6 times 1 is 6. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I showed you how to do this. You can find your multiplication fact for 6 times 8. I don't want to do that in this video, but I do want to focus on making sure you know 6 times 8. There's another way to find it. Okay. All right, 6 times 8 we know is 48. I know you know that. So now you just have to add them together. Okay. Now you're combining those, the 10 and the 6 back together. You're combining those partial products back together. So I have 8 ones and 0 ones. That's going to give me 8 ones. And then 4 tens and 8 tens. That's going to give me 12 tens or 128. Okay. Now this part is 128. Are we done? No, not at all. So if this part is 128 and this part is 64, both of them are square feet. Square, square. You guys don't know anything about Tina Marie, but she was a singer. All right, square feet. So now you can add those two numbers together, okay? So I have 8 ones and 4 ones is 12 ones. I'm going to put my ones there, regroup my tens. 6 tens, 2 tens is 8 tens, plus that one is 9 tens. And then 100 and no hundreds gives me 100. And so my answer is 192. Don't forget the units. Don't forget the units. 192 square feet. You might also see this. It might look like this, 120 feet with a little 2 there, right? Which just mean same thing. Square feet, feet squared, same as square feet, okay? All right, so today you have done one very simple volume problem. You have figured out that the area using the formulas that were provided to you or that will be provided to you on the reference sheet, both of those, you just kind of added those together. You got 192 feet squared or 192 square feet. Same thing, okay? All right, so today we talked a little bit about volume, and then I showed you how to do area on a combined shape. Guys, when you're doing something, make sure you're drawing it out. Make sure you're using your scratch paper. Math is fun, but it should not be done in your head. Not all of it. Some of it can be, but when you're doing this, and especially if you are struggling, you want to write it down until you get really good at it, okay? All right, have a good day.